Okay, good morning. Here we are at the Veterans History Project in the American Legion, post number 72, Lemyre Hackett Post, 30 John Street, Saugerties, New York. And it's Sunday, December 18th, 2005 at 11 a.m. And today we have Mr. Frank Costello. Thank you for joining us, Frank. He's going to share his military experiences with us. Thanks, Frank. Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I finally got drafted. I tried to enlist, but it didn't work out.
You had wanted to join the Air Force?
Because I was going to, yeah, I wanted to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
But my maths held me back.
I could imagine. And where were you living at the time?
In Glasgow.
Okay. And you didn't pick the service you joined, you were put into the Army?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember?
Excuse me, Joe Flagar, if you...
Oh, I know.
Did you know him?
I know him well, yeah.
He passed away too.
Yeah.
He and I both applied for the Air Force,
Uh-huh.
and he was taking the extra classes in math through Miss Hogan in Saugerties High School.
Yeah.
But I couldn't take extra classes because I didn't take math, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I took simple math,
Yeah.
not the actual math.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe went on and he became a pilot.
He was, and he was with the Flying Tiger unit.
Yeah.
In Asia.
He used to fly out of Africa and all over.
Yeah.
Great guy, Joe.
Yep, he was. Do you recall your first days in service? You mentioned that you were put in charge of the bus that went down to...
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that, will you?
Well, again, I had a bustle of people, and they're all nice guys. You know, they respected me, I respected them. There's no problems, except for this one guy. But he didn't give me any problems on the way down. He was rather quiet.
Yeah, you tell us what happened when he got there?
Yeah, when he got there.
You mentioned he was one of the toughest guys in Glasgow?
Oh, yeah, he was one of the toughest. He used to fight everybody in the street. He wanted to fight, and then when it came time for him to go do KP, he cried like a baby. He had tears over. I tried to convince him to stay, you know, but he just wouldn't stay. And the next day he was let go as unfit or something to the Army. Not
At that time, you were on Camp Upton in Long Island, New York?
Yeah.
So, what was that like? How did you feel about that?
Camp Upton?
Yeah.
It was all right. I wasn't too crazy about it. But then from there, I went down to school down in, where the heck was that, Carolina or something, to learn radar.
Uh-huh.
You know.
At some point, you went to Camp Crowder, Missouri?
Well, Camp Crowder, Missouri was one of my first stops while just first getting into the Army. You know?
You had like boot camp type instruction there, did you?
Yes.
Okay. What was that like?
It was enjoyable. I enjoyed all that. Yeah. That's
So
where I learned to smoke. And I finally gave it up recently.
Gave it up, huh?
Oh, recently, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
So you got through boot camp okay?
Yes.
Do you remember what your instructors, what were they like?
They were good.
Yeah.
Nice guys. Yeah.
And then you got sent for radar school?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, I did very well with radar. And not only radar, but you had to learn the alphabet, you know. The da, did, and all that stuff.
The Morse code, right?
Morse code, yeah.
Now, when you finished that, you were in the Army Signal Corps then? Is
Yes.
that right? Okay. So then what was your next duty station? Where did you go after that?
That's when we went, we didn't waste any time in the States. We went directly into combat, right down there. Went to Lemyre Island, and then right into the Philippines.
Uh-huh. You crossed the ocean on a ship, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
It was okay, except I had a fight with the guy that was running the ship part, you know. I don't know what he tried to let me do, and I didn't want to do it. And I told him I'd get him when we get overseas. I did tell him that. And then after that, he was all right. We got along good. Yeah.
I guess you were concerned about Japanese submarines. Was that a possibility?
Well, we had to watch because, and they were coming right up, you know, right up to our ship at times, and we had to fight them off. Yeah, it was. See, I had forgotten that if you didn't tell me.
Remind you.
Yeah.
You remember some details about that? What happened with the?
Well, we'd all stand over railing with our rifles, you know.
Uh-huh.
And if we see anything, we'd have to report it quickly to the captain.
Right.
Then we see some movement here, you know.
Uh-huh.
And we shoot at them if we had to. You know, it's no problem.
Now, when you got to the Philippines, you went to Lingayen Gulf, you told me?
Yeah, yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good.
Yeah. And you went ashore there?
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
We were stationed there. I was stationed there. I must have been close to a year, I believe.
Right, now you're there for a year, and during that time you had you experienced combat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Now, you had written a manuscript here about one of those episodes. You want to tell us about that?
About this episode?
Yeah.
Is that when, let me see. Oh, yeah, well, what happens is, all our ships are all around when we're landing here, and they see a Japanese, and I'm the guy that caught the Japanese ship coming in on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm yelling to the guys, I got one, and he's like, by now he's like 5-6 miles out. He's heading straight for us. And the guys are yelling, stick with it, Frank, stick with it. And they were in them like going to their dugout there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in there, and I could almost hear the plane overhead. Now in the meantime, the plane is dropping bombs. Our ammunition dump was no more than, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a mile away from us. One of the bombs hit right into that ammunition dump, and everything blew up. And then a ways from that, quite a ways from that, maybe a mile or two, there was a hill. And that's where the Japs had all these guns, these short guns and long guns that they had stolen from us when they took over the Philippines, you know.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden they're shooting at us, but in the meantime I got out of that radar. And I ran. I had told my buddy to, make the hole big enough for me. Well, I get there and I'm laying right on top of him and I'm above ground. I said, what happened? Why didn't you dig deeper? He said, I can't. The coral reef was under there and you couldn't dig through. It was too, but there's where we sat.
Mm-hmm.
And these guns, the little guns were too short to do anything to us. So they were going off before us, and the long guns were going over our heads. Zoom, bang, and all night long that's all we heard. We heard those things go off. It was very exciting. But ours, I said to my friend, I was laying on his back, I said, what the heck is the matter with your heart? I said, your heart is beating so hard. I think I got this in my letter. And he says, yeah, and he says, what's that banging on my back? He says, your heart's going pretty good too.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I'm just as scared as you are, so what are you going to do? But we pulled out of that, we got out,
Mm-hmm.
we were okay.
You think of any other?
Thank God for long and short guns.
Yeah, right. Can you think of anything else you'd like to tell us about that time, combat experiences?
Yeah, that's about, well, I walked through, the thing that fazed me the most, I walked through some areas just searching for guns and stuff, which I brought home. A nice rifle, 2 nice rifles. And then this, about the guns, jeez. What the hell I'm trying to tell you about that? I'll have to...
Well, you were looking for Japanese rifles to bring
Oh,
home.
yeah, and then
Uh-huh.
in looking for these things, I walked through a field where there were, I bet you, 100 dead bodies,
Mm-hmm.
Jap bodies.
Yeah.
And I had to step, here or there
Yeah.
to not walk on top of it.
Yeah.
And it was very exciting. It didn't bother me, of course, because they were Japs. But I was glad to see them rather than our own guns.
Yeah. Were there many casualties of your own in your unit?
No, because we were in radar and we weren't hit that well. We had 1 or 2 casualties, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing major.
Okay. Well, those are some of your most memorable experiences
Yeah.
during that time.
Mhm.
And you were awarded a number of medals, of course, for your service. We talked about that before. You got the Good Conduct Medal
Yep.
and the Asiatic and Pacific Campaign Medal and the World War II Victory Medal. And the Philippine government gave you the Liberation
Oh,
Medal
yeah.
for liberating the Philippines, yeah.
They were very nice to us.
Yeah, the Filipinos,
Filipinos were very nice.
you were liberating them from the Japanese.
Oh, sure.
But not treating them very well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they treated you good, the Filipinos.
Treat us
Yeah.
well, yeah.
And how did you stay in touch with your family during the time you were in the service?
We could write letters.
Mhm.
Of course, they were checked on by our commanding officer.
Yeah, it was sensitive, huh?
Yeah, it was sensitive to make sure we didn't write anything.
Yeah.
I was called a couple of times. I can't put this in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
They talked to you about it before they took it out, though, huh?
Oh, they read the whole letter, and
Uh-huh.
then they
Okay.
sent it out.
Yeah.
Made sure we didn't tell them where we were.
Mhm. Yeah. And you got mail from your folks,
Yes,
yeah, fairly regularly?
kind of regularly, and I was a hero because I'd get a lot of boxes with candy and fruit and whatnot, you know.
So you did, huh?
Yeah, I was a hero.
So you got care packages from your folks?
From
and
my
shared them with
because
the-
they had a big family, and
Uh-huh.
they, send packages.
How was the food aside from, you got nice stuff from the family?
Most times it was, the food wasn't bad, but there were a couple of times we almost starved because
You know?
the food didn't come through, you know,
Oh, okay.
they got stopped along the way.
So you did have sometimes a shortage of your
Yeah,
supplies, huh?
yeah,
Yeah. Were you able to get your equipment, technical equipment and like that regularly?
yeah, we got that in all right.
So they sent that through, but not the food.
Not the food.
That sounds about right. Now, obviously, you felt some pressure or stress, I guess, during this time. You mentioned already with your heart beating under enemy fire.
Oh, yeah.
Generally speaking, how'd you feel about it? Were you,
Well, I was counting the days. I had a regular calendar. And
Mhm.
there's another day gone, another day gone. Couldn't wait to get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
You know, but it didn't make me anxious or anything. It just,
Mhm.
I took it in stride. And I knew it had to be done. What are you going to do?
You didn't know when the war was going to be over, though, did you?
No, I had no idea.
No.
No.
Did you do anything particular you did for good luck or anything like that?
Not really.
No.
No.
Okay.
But I was the first guy to hear that the war was over. That, Truman was signing.
Tell us about that. How'd that happen? You were the first man
Heard-
in your unit to
I
hear
heard
about
on
it?
the radio. Yeah, I just happened to have the radio on, and I went back to the guys and I'm yelling to them, "Hey, the war is over! The war is get out of here!"
They didn't believe it.
They didn't believe me, but then
Mhm.
put the radio on. Hurry up, you'll hear it. It's Truman is signing the papers now.
Wow. How'd you feel?
Oh, great! That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the fellows felt the same way, I guess, huh?
Oh, sure. And then we were sent home by length of service. You know.
Yeah. Mhm.
I didn't take too long to get out because I was in pretty much, quite early.
Yeah. You expected to probably stay in the war until Japan was invaded, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like my cousins say, came in the army after me. They didn't even know what the army was.
Yeah.
But they came in after me and they wound up going to Japan. I
Right.
said, that's pretty good. I said, I fight the way to get over there. And they come in and they go see Japan.
Occupy Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the ship this one day, and ready we were going to sail to go somewhere near, heading for Japan.
Right.
And just then they pulled the ship back and they said, we don't have to go. The Japanese have surrendered and
Mhm.
you stay right here. And I was made of hell.
Yeah.
So I want to go to Japan
You
now.
wanted to see Japan, huh?
Sure, but I never did see it.
And we talked about this before. You did get entertainers sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Francis Langford. Well, it would be several companies.
Uh-huh.
Out in these fields, and we'd all be sitting in the field. And then Bob Hope would come on and entertain, and
Uh-huh.
Francis Langford would sing, and then there was another guy with them.
Was it Jerry Colonna?
Yeah, I was going to say, he was an Italian guy, yeah, Jerry Colon.
Yeah, he was very funny, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was very helpful.
Did you have other ways of entertaining yourselves at all?
Well, we had our own ways of playing certain games. I got to be pretty good at tennis and whatnot, yeah.
Were you able to have any, let's say, liberty or leave in the Philippines to go?
No.
Nothing, huh? No, just strictly. Now, when you were at home, you had some leave, I guess,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, but by that time the war was over, there was no place to go, you know.
Yep.
But my leave over there was, and which I liked, was going to the airport and hitchhiking rides,
Yeah, you mentioned that.
planes, you know.
Yeah.
I
Who
even
was
had
that?
a neighbor of mine,
Uh-huh.
Nick Ascenzo, he was a pilot also. In fact, he was on a plane
Mm-hmm.
going to bomb Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a bombardier.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, unfortunately, he wasn't able to, they didn't give him that to bomb Japan. He was an excellent shot,
Yeah.
but it didn't work with him.
Now, you got a chance to hitch rides on planes at other times?
Oh, yeah.
Where was that? Where'd you go?
The different airports, regular Army airports.
Uh-huh.
You go there and you talk to the pilot, you know.
Yeah.
How about a ride here or there, wherever you're going? Where are you going?
Mhm.
Yes.
That was in the States though, right?
No,
Over there?
overseas, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Overseas, that was nice.
Yeah. So where'd you get to go? Where'd you go to?
Well, I went like Lady and
Uh-huh.
different,
Okay.
different islands, you know.
Yeah.
That was nice, yeah.
What did you think of the officers and your fellow soldiers?
All great guys, all
Yeah.
great people.
Yeah, that's good. Did you keep a diary?
No.
No, okay. Now, you already mentioned, you remember when the war came to an end and you were the man that gave
Yeah.
the information to your troops?
Yeah.
Once you got back to the States, you mentioned you came back to Camp Dix down here in New York, or
Yeah.
New Jersey actually, right?
Jersey.
And you got cut loose there, right?
Yep.
Now, you sailed all the way across the ocean coming back, right? How
Did I
was
do
that?
what?
You sailed across the ocean coming
Oh,
back?
yeah.
Yeah, what'd you put into when you came back?
Where the heck did I come back to? I don't know. Name someplace where I could have gone, I forget.
San Francisco?
Yeah, we did go to
San Francisco? A
Yeah.
lot of people did, yeah.
And I was in charge of the train coming
Right.
from San Francisco to New York.
Mhm.
I had, I don't know, one or two, maybe just one. It was, you know, see if the guys behaved. So,
That was, you were welcomed pretty well at San Francisco, I guess?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a long train trip back across the country, right?
Well, there was, must have taken us 3 or 4 days, I guess.
Mhm.
I forget now. It's too long.
And then you got discharged at Camp Dix,
Yes,
and then you came back home to Glasgow.
right.
Okay. And what did you do in the days and weeks after you were out of the service? What did you do with yourself?
At the time, I mostly hung around the house and, you know, visited my mother and father and
Mhm.
whatnot. But I don't recall what there's nothing special I did
Mhm.
that I remember.
Did you get more education with the GI Bill or anything like that? Or
No, like a fool, I didn't go. I should have.
what did you work at after?
Prior to going in, I was a shader in a factory. I shaded material. That's for color.
Mm-hmm.
And you put all the colors together, you know.
Yeah.
You'd have these webs of cloth,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd put all the same colors together,
Mm-hmm.
and then the odd colors you toss aside.
Where was that?
In Manhattan Shirt Factory in Kingston.
Okay, in case.
Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't do that when I came back. What the hell did I do? I don't know. I know what I did. I started my own business.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What was your
I
business?
started my little bar down in Glasgow.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I started a pizza joint.
Uh-huh.
And it was the first pizza joint in Ulster County, other than one in the city of Kingston, Tony Sackman had.
Uh-huh.
He was the first guy in Ulster County, but he never promoted the pizzas. He never
Yeah.
did much with it, you know.
Mhm.
Now with me, they came from all over. They came from Catskill,
Yeah.
the top of the mountains,
Mhm.
Townsville, all over. They come in Kingston. They come in.
Pizza got very popular after World War
Oh, then it got so popular.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people tried to imitate me, open their own for some reason. They never made it.
What was the name of your place?
It was, well, Frankie's.
Frankie's. Yeah.
Frankie's Pizza.
And how long did you have the business?
God, from there I moved up on the main highway.
Uh-huh.
I was down in my old place, maybe a couple of years, and I moved up on the highway, and that's when business really boomed.
Yeah.
And I stayed there maybe 5 or 6 years,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and that was that. So,
Yeah. So that was your career, then, was
That was
actually
my career,
running your own business? Huh?
Yeah.
So you had a bar and a pizzeria?
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, you get to meet a lot of people that way.
So, yeah.
Now, you made some friendships in the service. Did you keep in touch with the fellas, or?
Not too well, except my friends here, Ryan and a couple of guys from Massachusetts
Mhm.
and one from Pennsylvania. We were four of us
Mhm.
who worked our radars together,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and we were very close.
Yeah.
So,
Did you join any veterans organizations?
oh yeah, I joined American Legion right away, so we did that.
Yeah. And you mentioned below the VFW too, huh?
The VFW. I think I wound up being VFW in Poughkeepsie
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know. I think we came through there and
Uh-huh.
we got laid off and we got
Yeah,
discharged.
Yeah. They might have been recruiting people right at the train station.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, you mentioned that you haven't attended any reunions, but tell me, what do you think of your experience in the war, how it affected your life?
Oh, it made me an entirely different person. I mean, you know, it opens your eyes to so many things that you weren't aware of before. And then you always apply that to your Army experiences, and you know, and you put them together. And it's very helpful, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, yeah, I'm glad I was there. I wouldn't want to be before or after. I wouldn't want to be a guy that didn't get to go, you know.
Mhm.
I'm glad I went.
We're glad you came back too.
Yeah, that I'm glad.
Thanks very much, Mr.
Okay.
Costello. Appreciate it. Thank you a lot.
You're very welcome.